Welcome, everybody, to the CFC, also known as the Common Freakin' Sense Show. We are here in central Wisconsin, at least 2/3 of us are, and one of the great parties of this particular extravaganza is out on the West Coast, and so we want to say hi to him. First of all, my name is Pastor Eric, and I am doing the lead tonight and the intro, but out on the left coast is Chris. Take it away and say hi, Chris.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Chris here, Green Beret medic, husband, and father. Also, adding another feather to my cap, master purveyor of misinformation. I am all over it.
Master purveyor. That's nice. That's good. And then sitting over in the production seat, in the production seat is our producer, KK. Say hi to everybody.
Guys, I'm gonna make a joke.
Production, pre-duction, post-duction, mid-duction. She's got
all the ductions.
She does it all.
All the ductions.
All the ductions. Yeah. Hey, it's good to be together. We've been working out some bugs on software and all that other kinds of stuff. And if I remember correctly, last week wasn't software, wasn't firmware. It was just doggone where Chris got knocked offline.
I did, yeah. So I didn't put two and two together, but going into the RNC, that whole CrowdStrike thing that happened, all the planes that got grounded and the banks that got knocked offline, I can't say with certainty, this is unconfirmed, but this was on the head of that. We had half of the military installation Wi-Fi just went down inexplicably. And I know that they use CrowdStrike as part of their...
Sure.
Right, so it was really strange.
Yeah.
Are there any other bases that had problems besides yours?
I don't know. I didn't reach out to find out. But
wow, that would have been interesting to know.
But this was
really interesting.
We were filming the same night that Trump was speaking, and then it was the next morning that American Airlines, United, Delta all got grounded. Everybody except Southwestern, which I thought was really funny. So Southwestern, you're not doing your security updates.
You're not doing your updates.
It out now.
Yeah. Did Northwestern Airlines?
Ooh, I don't know. I'll have to go look that one up. I can't confirm. I know that American, United, and Delta were the three
the big ones. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was a lot of banks that went down. Internet was down all over the place. It was a mess.
You said that, but actually it was recorded as going down at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. What time would that be to you?
Eastern time? That would have put me at 7:30 p.m.
7, and we tried to record at 7, but it went out earlier in the day though on you, because you told me it had been 5 o'clock
here all day. Yeah,
you told me at 5 o'clock our time that you were out. So
the crazy thing is being so close to the RNC that we didn't have really many problems like at all. So you
guys also live in like the Hobbiton of the Midwest.
We are,
which I kind of miss. Don't get me wrong on that one.
Your mom and I was talking the other day about the bubble that we're in, and we really do like the bubble we're in.
It is getting smaller and smaller because it was more recently a really crazy thing that happened down in Wanakee, and albeit closer than I'd like to admit, someone at a certain Eat Fresh branch down there refused to serve a guy because he had a paraphernalia on that was Christian, and the lady just outright said, "I refuse to serve you because of your shirt." And
that's illegal.
It was an absolute. She's like, because this is personal and conflicting, I'm refusing you service. And he asked, "Is it because of my shirt?" And she's like, yes, exactly.
Well, did he ask for like a manager or somebody else?
No, he recorded the video, got her statement saying, are you refusing to serve me, correct? I'm going to get it one more time. She said, yes, I am. And he goes, all right, well, corporate's not going to be happy about this. So he's just taking it straight to the top, not just even a branch manager. He's going to corporate. So
that's good. That's good. We need more of this.
Right.
We do. We need more of this. Like,
we need national to know. And it's like down in Wanakee, Wisconsin, and I'm like, oh no, our bubble's shrinking. No. So
it was always bound to happen, right? That's
Hey, it's one of the themes. You're really soft on me. You're really
Well, that's one of the themes of like Lord of
Yes.
the Rings, right? Is like the hobbits as a group are like, well, they're it's no business of ours what goes on beyond our borders. Keep your
Same
nose out
for
of trouble,
the
and no trouble will find you. But the
same
whole
for the
like one of the
elves.
themes
Wait a
is
minute, that's
eventually.
libertarian.
Yeah, it really is.
That's
Get me started on the libertarians. Listen,
That's
libertarians, I
libertarian
love you,
view.
but I find libertarianism to be a lazy. It's just a lazy paradigm of the world. You can't just expect to be, out like your paradigm doesn't make any sense. You
Oh
can't
yeah.
legislate a society by not legislating anything. That's called chaos. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to let the audience in on a little personal behind the screen thing. So I finally heard Chris and I have been checking in with Congressman, the Republican Party, powers that be, all that other kind of stuff. Heard back from one today. I finally heard back from one, and come to find out, the guy that we're trying to connect with the particular county to make sure that we're up the one where I reside, come to find out, he is the mayor of Watoma,
Wait, what?
Mr. Mayor,
as well as being
been trying to
party
get a hold of you.
chair, as well as being party chair. So, yeah, I just found that out today. Was supposed to hear back from congressional seat, but we're struggling here in Washera County because didn't know this until I tried to look this stuff up. But we're having problems because they gerrymandered our map. And last year, I didn't even know this. Last year, my representative was a Democrat. My state rep. Because of the way that they reshaped the map, and it made her the leading person. So we had a Democrat for a rep.
Right.
There hasn't been a Democrat as a rep in my district since I've lived here in 18 years. So yeah, the gerrymandering. So anyway, it got changed again this year, and so the funny thing about it is we don't have a Republican incumbent because it was a Republican because it was taken over by a Democrat. So the Republicans are getting primaried, and we don't even know at this point. They don't even know who they're actually running against on the Democratic side.
That is a perfect example of like people like to sit around, and I deal with this so much here on this channel and the other channels that I help with. Like we get this all the time. It's like, what can I do? What can I do? I'm outraged. Like you see all these problems, and I'm not like a problem centric type of person. If there's one thing that the military's taught me, it's like, don't come at me with problems, come at me with solutions. Because we all know that there's problems.
Right.
And so to a lot of these people, like one of the first things I ask them is like, do you vote? And if they go, well, no, I don't, because nothing's going to change. I go, I no longer have time for you. You're not a serious person. Like, please,
you have not entered.
Right. You're not even ready to have these conversations. Like,
the basis of our founding in America is you have a voice and you need to make your voice heard. And that is still being taught through voting. No, not being taught. It is still used through voting, but nobody's being taught that you have a voice through voting.
Right. Well, it's supposed to be a government of the people,
right,
by the people. So those two things right there say that you're supposed to be involved, right? And then for the people. But a lot of the people, they just want to put government on cruise control, and they just want it to work for them. And then they come back, they turn around and they go like, why does my government hate me? Why are my representatives not representing me? Like, why are things changing? I didn't vote for this.
Right.
Exactly. It was that last part. Like you walked yourself in on it. So the next thing that I usually, ask those individuals, it's like, okay, well, you voted. Did you vote in your local elections? Did you vote for school board? Did you vote for county district? Did you vote for, municipal government? Did you vote for? And then they usually go, well, I don't pay attention to those. And I'm like, well,
that's where it starts.
The federal government has much less to do with your daily life than your freaking county and your municipality do.
Right.
So, and your school board
for dog catcher, get in there.
Get in there, right? And so, Mrs. CFC, she likes to say all the time, it's very wise. So I always like to, she's much wiser than I am when it comes to stuff like this. But she's very fond of saying, the system works if you work the system. And that's just what it is. You know, a lot of Americans, they've just taken their hands off the wheel completely, and they want government to be on cruise control, like I said. And our government was never designed to be that way. It was supposed to be of the people, by the people, for the people. We were supposed to be involved and have a hand on the steering wheel. And so if you're not doing that, and then you turn around and you wonder why, you know, it doesn't seem like your government represents you, I would be like, well, it doesn't.
Oh my
You
gosh,
have,
my
you know, you're not
child
making your
is a
voice heard.
little hellion. You didn't discipline them.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my child's a little hellion, and they're not listening to me because, you know, you're not actually taking the time to do the work or put the work in it.
Right.
You know, to be there, to be a parent, to be a person in just society.
Well, there's so many things that you can plug this into, because any person that wants things to be on cruise control and is lazy by nature, they're going to be that way in every part of their life.
Yeah.
Right.
Kay did say something that was incredibly interesting that we probably ought to circle back to. And that is they're not taught. I was just thinking the other day when I was in the 8th grade, 1980, that was going to be the election
when dinosaurs ruled the earth.
Well, thank you very much. It was Jimmy Carter. He was just finishing up his first term. Ronald Reagan was running against him. Jimmy
Carter's got to be sitting around just going, "Oh, thank God," because he was on the wrong side of the record books there for the longest of time.
Yeah, and his liberalism drug him into it. But as far as character goes, because of the heavy Christian that Jimmy Carter brought to the table, his own party was against him. So they were sinking him right and left. And so, you know, and then he was wanting to do some of these liberal programs, which, by the way,
and it was the Iran hostage crisis, right?
Right. That was at the end of it. But who brought in the Department of Education on a federal level?
1973, Jimmy Carter.
73 is not Jimmy Carter. 73 is Nixon. But Jimmy Carter did in 76. He proposed and brought in the Department of Education on a federal level, and it didn't exist before him. Anyway, that was Ronald Reagan. Jimmy Carter.
We're both wrong. October 17, 1979.
79, but it was still Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, he's closer.
Fact check. Fact check.
Right, but the idea is what we did in our high school. This is what I wanted to bring up. I was just coming out of the 8th grade, going into the 9th grade. And as an 8th grader, that the election would have been that fall. But in that summer before school was out, my whole school district replicated the a national convention. So that we would understand. And we broke apart in every one of the states. They had their own caucuses, and we had 3 leading candidates who we were going to vote for. They had their ticket ready and everything. Each one of the caucuses had to step up to the mic, "Mr. Chairman, from the state of," and they let us out, and it took all day to do it. We even had a TV club. The TV club filmed it, big boom mics that were going up and down so that they could see what was going on. Everything in the school, we did everything that we could to try to emulate a national convention, not a Democrat or Republican, but a national convention. Candidates, it was considered an open convention. We had to go by Robert's Rules of Order. Convention stuff was lined out so that we could learn. We did that on a school level, and we had a national convention. I have not forgotten it to this day, how the floor works. "Mr. Chairman," him standing up there pounding it, trying to get everybody's attention to get them to settle down. I mean, it was great. It was awesomely emulated. And kids today don't have a clue what a national convention is. They don't have a clue why you have a national convention and what that is all about. It used to be in the 1800s, all conventions were actually open. The conventions were the nominating process. And if you wanted to get a guy nominated, you had to go to the convention. And And even so, even that term backroom deals is because when they couldn't get a guy nominated, all the heads of the major states would come together, and the guy running for president and trying to get the nomination was making these deals. Well, to your state, we could do this. To your state, we could do that. That's
Sure.
where the term backroom deals even come from. If you will sway your caucus to come to me, and that's the kind of stuff that was going on. They don't do this voting now that we do nowadays and have elections on caucuses. They had the convention. That's how it used to be done.
Right.
Yeah.
3 things. How big is your school? Was it broken up by grades? And what is specifically a caucus?
No, it wasn't broken up by grades. And that's why they brought us over as 8th graders to add even more to it. But our history teacher wanted us involved in it to see, to experience how it went. A caucus is a group of people that get together for a cause. And when you caucus, you come together for the group in order to make a decision.
Yeah,
So it is the smallest level of democracy.
No. And there's multiple caucuses like inside each party. So
Yep.
technically, like the America First group inside of the Republican Party is its own small caucus.
Form a caucus.
This
Right.
sounds
So-
like a group of crows. Just
And it was the entire school.
That's
and
a
you're talking.
murder of crows.
And you asked the question, was it the whole school? They brought the 8th graders over, which was just a little over 200 students in my class. And so once you added them in, there was about 1,000 people in that gym.
okay, that is very big school. But then again, for the area, I guess not.
Oh, no, because if you were to do something like that at Withrow High School, they graduate 5,000.
Right.
So you'd have been, you'd have been talking about. Matter of fact, they don't have a place to put one room to put the whole school. We could put all of our school in the. It wasn't a gym; it's actually a field house. So they just had the field house built, and so that's the reason why we were able to do it. It was pretty great. And like I said, it is still in my mind. I mean, they had the red, white, blue balloons. They did confetti drops. I mean, it was we had the whole.
Yeah, but would you say you came out of that experience having a better understanding of U.S. civics?
Absolutely.
Right, because
Absolutely.
these kids coming out of high school today, they don't understand
Nothing.
one thing about how U.S. civics is supposed to work, let alone how the actual sausage gets made in government, which is a whole other
thing.
Conversation entirely about how it's been bastardized.
And so that's the reason why. Here's my segue to you, Chris, and we're going to open up for tonight. Chris has got a theme he's going to go with. All right. What's his segment called?
I don't know.
Chin, chicka, chin, chin, chicka, chin, chin, chicka. Go ahead and give me that drum roll. Give me that drum roll from the media. Yeah.
Just, I'm gonna go live and drum roll.
And it
I didn't realize that drum roll was that long. Yeah, so we're gonna do the who's who and what's new. So we're
So
gonna go
here's
through
his
some headlines
segue for this evening. And so one of the biggest problems that we have, why people are so easily duped, is because they don't know, and that the media then can tell them anything they want. So what are we hearing from the media, Chris?
Yeah, so that's a really good point that you made off the top, and I want to put an exclamation point on that and say, I'm starting to become like a media analyst is really what I do, because I spend the bulk of my week just going through the stories and trying to stay on top of everything. And I've never seen in my lifetime the news move this quickly. Like, we are at plaid speeds of the news media, and it's so bad that a buddy of mine, Brandon from I Came With Fire podcast, we run the live fires over there, guys, every Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a live stream that we do on Rumble. Pastor Eric is now a co-host over there. He gets in there, so come over and see us on Rumble if you guys have anything going on over there. But he was texting me today.
You snuck that in well. That was good.
I'm just sliding into all their DMs, you know. So anyway, he texted me today. I had to take one of the boys out for an errand. We had to go to speech therapy, and then from there we went over to the DMV. I had to go deep into Mordor to go deal with the Eye of Sauron himself. And by the time that I emerged from that, I casted it into the fire. I destroyed it, so it's good, guys. We're all good.
All right,
Um,
we're safe.
but-
Okay, that's good.
for now. But anyway, so I came back from that, and Brandon texted me, and he goes, "Are you seeing this?" And the last time that he texted me something like that, like, I found out that the president had almost been assassinated. So I was like, immediately I pulled up Newsmax on my phone. I start streaming. I'm waiting to see like terror attack or something weird. I'm like, okay, the headlines all look pretty normal. I was like, I was gone for like 2 hours. What happened, dude? Like, I was ready to hear the worst, because that's how fast and furious it's been this weekend.
Oh yeah.
So I do have a couple things here to share with you guys, and a couple of good news stories that I want to get to up top before we talk about the thing that everybody's talking about. I always like to do a little bit of palate cleansing here, but a couple of good
lemon
things.
sorbet.
Yeah, a couple of good things that are going on. This one caught my eye right here. So this is from the BBC. So the Biden student debt relief halted by court challenges. So there's been 2 federal courts that have blocked key portions of the U.S. President Joe Biden's student loan debt relief and repayment plan, aka it's not debt relief, guys. All debts are paid. They're either paid by the creditor who lent you the money in the first place, or they're paid back by you. They're paid back by somebody. So when they say debt relief, all they're doing is taking that money and they're shifting it over, and they're putting them into people's federal income taxes and sales
You're
tax.
not
and all
the
that.
one paying it,
But
we all
somebody
pay for it.
is.
Right. We're all paying for your underwater basket weaving in lesbian studies degree, Karen. That's what's happening.
That's
so anyway,
women's studies. Come on.
I'll get it right next time.
All
See,
right.
I'm just a business major. I don't know about these things.
Yes.
But anyway, so that's happening. So we're glad about that. It's basically been halted. There's nothing more going on there.
Yes.
So
Do you
that's
know
good
how
news
many?
for
Do you
now.
know how long ago that was?
So this is as of last month, June 25th.
Correct. You're just now hearing about it because of everything that has happened in the past week. That took a back seat.
Right.
And that's huge.
Right. Well, and I mean, it's a well-known tactic that they're like, hey, we don't like the news cycle. Okay, change it. Interject something. Right. That's a pretty, and we'll get to that when we get to what happened. This is Monday, right?
Yeah.
What is this, Monday the 23rd?
All day.
No,
Monday the 22nd.
Second. See, that's why
Tomorrow's
I constantly
23rd.
I wear a watch so that way I have, it's like I actually use the date and time feature. I'm like, what is today? I don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
So
just to throw in with that happened locally. So your mom gets up, she's going through the news. We're doing the morning routine, and she goes, "Hey, did you know that over where I work, the town that I work in, this is for our listening audience, is called Wisconsin Rapids." And she said, "Did you know over in Wisconsin Rapids that there was a seniors living home, and it caught on fire last night, and the people had to be evacuated, 19 people."
That's
and
huge local news.
like, yeah, that is. And she's going through and she goes, "Wait a minute, the headlines are lying. This happened last Thursday."
What, media manipulation? Suddenly we realize what's actually happening?
It's that there was enough slowdown and wanted to change the narrative. They went to the past and got a story that nobody had been covering because it wasn't sexy or whatever, whatever you want to say.
The Argus there still weekly?
Yes.
Yeah, see, like,
but this was internet news.
Oh, well, I was going to say weekly newspapers. I don't even know what you guys do besides ad space, because you can't. That paper's not thick enough to do a week at a time now. Too much stuff. Too much stuff happens in a week.
The Argus is thick, but where we're at, the
weekly
paper in Rapids is incredibly thin. And when you say all it is ads, you are correct.
Yeah, that's. I mean, there's a reason people are like, basically, I think it's 90% of people get all of their news from social media now. Like, it's just.
You heard that
anyway.
on the internet.
Yeah. So it must be true.
It must be true.
It's gotta be true. All right. So anyway, moving right along here. Here's another piece of good news. So we're like, I hope you guys aren't tired of winning yet, because we are putting up some serious W's, and this one deserves to be highlighted. So John Deere backtracks on DEI commitments. Deere and Company is the latest business to back down on diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives in response to online criticism. So this online criticism that they're talking about was really, it was an amazing thing. We are starting to be able to, in case you guys don't think, it's like, what can I do? It's like, how can I have an impact? The reason that we have channels like this, like Common Freaking Sense, like I Came With Fire, like the Common Sense Network, and the stuff that we're building is because we are having real and lasting impact on the culture by using the tactics of shame, mockery, derision. Like, you turn the lights on and the roaches scatter, things that are evil, things that are bad for humanity. It loves darkness. It loves to be behind the curtain. And as soon as you peel the curtain back with the democratization of information, which is what we have on the internet, like, they're finding out that these DEI, critical race theory, transgender, like, fill in whatever issue, like, it is not popular with the American people. It's not. And every time that it's has a light shown on it, then it's starting to back down. So I don't know if you and Kay are following this story, but basically this guy, Robbie Starbuck, who has quite a following on X, formerly known as Twitter, kind of like the artist formerly known as Prince, he basically broke the story that John Deere, inside the company, one of their higher level executives was basically forcing DEI onto employees within the company, and making them, like, he was making them read DEI based books, like How to Be an Anti-Racist by that Ibram X. Kendi, which his name's like actually George Henderson or something, like super white like that. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
it's super hilarious. It's like, George, right? Okay. Kind of like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Okay, Sandy. Like, you're not fooling anybody. But like, they made him read his book. There's another person named D'Angelo. She had like a really popular anti-racist anti-racist book. The title will come back to me later, I'm sure, when I don't need it. They were making them read her book. They were making them take pledges to be anti-racist, taking online seminars, just really trying to brainwash and inculcate them in the world of DEI. Well, this guy Robbie Starbuck figured out what was going on, and I mean, like, we're not talking like some clothing company. We're not talking like some West Coast fashion brand. Like, this is John freaking Deere. Like, big tractors for guys that like mow big fields. You know what I mean? Like giant farm equipment. John freaking Deere. And he was like, so something similar to this had happened with Tractor Supply Company several months ago, where they found out that the same thing was going on there, got exposed. Tractor Supply Company immediately apologized, backed down, and did away with it. I think the person that was in charge of it fired. Here, same thing. John Deere backs down, backs off the X, closes the program down, apologizes to its customers, and basically makes a statement that's like, you know what? We make tractors. We're going to go back to making tractors.
Well, you know
why? I
highly
suggest you just go back to making big freaking tractors, John Deere.
There ain't no
Stay
farmer
out of the
in his
arena.
right mind wants a gay tractor. Come on now.
Well, that's one really good point. That's one really good point. And I don't want to strip all of the sincerity out of what you said, because it like, you're making a comedic point about it, but you're absolutely right. Ain't no bygone farmer that wants a queer tractor.
That's right. That's right.
Like,
now maybe
pretty soon,
soon.
and I'm just saying, like, the memes were super easy. Nothing runs like a queer. Like, it was super easy. Like, we were like, oh, really? You're just gonna serve it up on a silver platter for us like that? So anyway, we got on it. John Deere backed down. They're going back to just making tractors, which is what they should have done all along. That's a huge victory. I wanted to highlight that. Like, post another W in the column, boys. On to the next.
How about
one.
this? There's a farmer out there. He's like, if mine is a female, then I'll tell you what, she works hard, so she must be a dyke.
Oh, jeez.
That's not where I would have gone with it, but okay.
Ain't nothing feminine about this bulldozer.
I guess.
No. This tractor is so fickle, it must be a female. Never know when it's going to start or not.
Oh, boy. Well, and another good point about this, too.
That's a Massey Ferguson.
Another good point about this, too.
The reason why its initials are MF. Anyway, go ahead.
One of the reasons they were able to get away with it so long, and this kind of shows like where we are in the timeline of things, is that the average person that would be a John Deere customer is not the type of person that's going to be on Instagram, or on well, maybe Facebook, because Facebook's kind of gone that direction, but definitely not on Twitter, right? They're not really following this stuff. They're not, they're not plugged in. They got stuff to do. They got fields to plow, man.
To do. There's dirt in the cab, and I've got classic country on. Come on, man.
Right, I got to go fix my John Deere because it's broken down again. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, so definite dub. Like, we're happy about that. You got to love to see it. Next time, don't make us, how many times we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Like, don't make us do it again, because we're watching now, right? So,
well,
anyway,
it's happening all over, though, right?
Right. Yeah. And people don't realize that we're on, we've got, it is 5th generational information warfare, and people don't realize like how many front lines there are. And then the more you tell them about it, they're like, John Deere, really? What in the world do tractors have to do with D? And you're like, and you just show them. You're like, here you go, because a lot of people aren't ready. They're like, oh, come on, it's not that bad. Oh my God, John Deere too. It's like, yes, they will not stop until they take everything.
My Deere is square. Come on, man.
Destroying your culture is the point.
And
it's like people need to start understanding that.
Yeah,
that's right.
I remember making a statement back a couple episodes ago. With it was just me and Dad before you came on, and my specific thing was, if you let it fester, it will spread. It's literally an infection. It's like rotting wood. It's like anything going bad. If one thing touches another, one bad apple spoils the bunch. It's like, oh, they'll stay over in California and they'll be fine, and they'll leave themselves and destroy themselves. No, they're going to spread out, and it's going to touch and grab and consume everything it can. If you don't start fighting it when you see it, and now it'll be even worse later on. If you just go, oh, it's not that bad now, don't worry about it. Oh, just leave it for tomorrow. Leave it for someone else. It is.
Well, and then we're talking about the laziness thing, where people just want culture. People want culture to be on cruise control, and it's like, no, you are the culture, my man. Yeah. You are the culture, right? And so if you're on cruise control and you're lazy, then you're just giving it away, and they will take it, because power is the point. Destroying it is the point. I don't have any relationship. I wish I did, but I recently read a book by Jack Posobiec called Unhumans. And it's basically it reads like a master's level dissertation or thesis on the history of communist revolutions specifically. So it looks at every communist revolution chapter by chapter, going all the way back to the French Revolution. So beginning in the 1700s. Sounds like some
Dr. Soul would read, right?
Kind of, and it was fascinating, and it was really good. But what really stood out to me, and it's called Unhumans by Jack Posobiec. Again, I nothing for doing this plug. I just think it's a good book to understand the stuff that we're talking about. But go back, read it. The thing that stood out to me was you've got almost 300 years of communist revolutions, and yet the similarities between each one are just like striking. And when you actually look at it, you think like, oh, well, true socialism's never been tried. Get out of here with that JV level bullshit argument, right? Like, you are not a serious person, and I don't have time to educate you enough to get you up to speed. But if you go through and you really look at it, and you see, you can draw the thread through each and every one of them, and then you start to see like how similar the ideology is. Then, like you said, Kay, like, yes, it does mimic a cancer or a disease or an infection. And then the other thing too is, how do you get this many people across this many cultures? Because again, you're talking like Vietnam and China over in the 1930s through the 1960s over there, communism versus like communism in that tried to take over France before Napoleon Bonaparte shut it down because he had the cannons. And you go like, how do you get this many people from this many continents over this many cultures to believe the same pervasive ideology and watch it destroy their culture? And then you start to tie it back to like, well, maybe there's something deeper going on here. Maybe there's almost something spiritual going on here that's anti-civilization, that's anti-human, that's anti.
So can I pull this together just a little bit?
Yeah, please.
So have you ever noticed, first off, the Bible tells us that there's nothing new under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you take it from that point of view. It's like, okay, so where did we first see, and I'll just pull it together in this. Everything that is evil and its origins are in the first 3 chapters of the Bible. All right, you start with creation, then the fall of creation. everything that ends up being touched that turns to evil, you can take all of its origins and go back to Genesis. There's nothing new under the sun. You'll find everything exactly there, which is to say that the great tempter, the adversary, which, by the way, adversary, that's what Satan means, is adversary. You take everything that he does, and there's nothing new to it. He uses the same formulas over and over and over. So when you say there's something evil to it, I can trace it by this corollary. And it truly is a corollary. It's not a fact, but watch the correlation that happens here. In every one of your communistic governments, it's the same thing over and over and over. And you go, where are those origins from? It's the same thing to do with the beginning of the fall of man and the very sin that enters into man's heart. What's the evilness behind communism? It's the evilness that's in man's heart that caused. Because if you take total righteousness, communism would be the government. And here's something that everybody needs to know: heaven will be a communistic government. But
well,
that's
now
because
they're not ready.
you don't think so? Because there is one holy person that will run it, and that's what you have to make communism work.
Incorruptible.
An incorruptible person
and it
also
will work perfectly as intended because
but then
God can do that.
So then you stick a corruptible man in there, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, so another thing that the book really pointed out that I think hammers it home is at the end of each chapter, it talks about the revolution, that he was like, all right, in summation, this is the revolution we just covered. Here are the power players to go over them again to help them stick in your mind. Death toll. Boom. And it gives you the death toll from this year to this year. Here's the overall death toll. And some of them are estimated, but you're like, Russia, dude, death toll 100 million plus. China, 60 million plus. And it's like everywhere that this disease goes, it just kills. It kills people by the millions.
Yeah.
And then one more final cherry on top of this Sunday, talking about like, oh, you guys are just conspiracy theorists. It's not evil. Who is the very first group of people that communists always go after that they can't stand, that they want to eradicate?
The free
Christians.
Christians. It's always Christians. They cannot stand
Christians.
Those evil Christians
goes against the leadership of the government because there's something higher than the government. And
which I saw this back when I was going to Indiana Wesleyan University, and even seeing some of the people around there as I look back on it, I remember just thinking like, well, these guys are just retarded and they'll probably grow out of it, I imagine. But looking back, I realized like, no, they're teaching this in the political science department over there, saying like, oh well, socialism's not that bad of a thing.
It's not that bad.
It's like, don't we want everybody to be equal? And it's like, well, okay, you're not talking about equality. You're talking about equity, first of all, which is not the same thing. But they get people to believe the same thing. And then the other thing they like to do is they like to tug on like liberal Christians' heartstrings, because it's like, oh, well, look, the people are suffering. The people are poor. Don't we want everybody to have the same stuff? To which I go, well, actually, if you read the Bible, no. Because if God was the master and he had 3 servants, and to one servant he gave 1 talent, to another servant he gave 5 talents, and to another servant he gave 10 talents, right? So even God himself looks at people based on their ability to serve and goes, I'm going to distribute my talents in a way that
according to their talent,
according to what they can handle. So like, no, I don't want everybody to be equal. There's an interesting thought experiment that I like to conduct with people. And I say, let's say if you get like 100 people in a room, and every single person, you gave them $100. To every single person, you get $100. You are now all completely equal across the board. That is equity. Everybody got the same exact thing. 24 hours from then, they will not be equal any longer. One person is going to take that $100, go straight down to the bar that night and be like, free drinks, dude. Maybe a couple of them are enterprising. They're going to get together. You know what we could do? If we pool our resources, we get $500 between the 3 of us. We can invest in a thing and use it to make more money. Maybe one person might take his $100 and go buy a fishing rod and reel and be like, I can take that and I can feed my family for, the rest of the summer, right? Another person's going to stick it in their pocket, walk out the door and lose it. They didn't get anything out of it. And then there's probably going to be one shiesty guy in there that's going to be stealing other people's money and makes it out with like $600 all by himself. Right. So it's like, there is no such thing as like, You can give, and I've seen
Yeah.
it over here in Tacoma, you can walk up and give a homeless person $100 bill, and like, what are they going to do with it? They'll be right back there tomorrow morning shooting up heroin, because it's like, you can't fix somebody being poor just by handing them money. You can't be like, okay,
Right.
now they have a bunch of
Yeah.
money, now they're not poor. The problem was they didn't have money. No. Right? You
No.
can't
Why do
fix
you think they were
homelessness.
poor in the first place?
Right. You can't fix homelessness by just giving somebody a house. Okay, now you have a house. Now you're not homeless anymore.
Right.
No. You're not fixing the cause. Like, why was that person homeless in the first place?
Yeah.
There's a deeper thing there. But again, correlation doesn't equal causation. That's really cute. Did your humanities professor tell you that? Was that the one thing you wrote down in your notebook? I'm really happy that you can, like, spout off a bunch of college level BS. Do you have any idea what that means?
Mhm.
Right. And
Right.
it's like, no, they don't. Well, these people don't have houses, so just house them and then they'll be housed.
Yeah. See, that's part of the stuff that we do at Love Inc. When we
Yeah.
go to help people, that's the one thing, and we ride on this mantra. We're here not to give you a hand out. We're here to give you a hand up. But
Right.
in giving you a hand up, we're going to put you in it. Like, we have a lot of people come out of jail. They having problems with because of alcohol or whatever. That's what put them in jail. They lose their driver's license and so
Classic.
forth. Well, part of the road to recovery is to start with something simple, a job. Oh, but I can't get to the job. Okay, we're going to connect you with Love Inc. Love, they call us up. Well, we're having problems with transportation. Oh, we've got a program. We can get you a bike. Oh, okay, great. You can give me a bike. Well, no, not so fast. We're not going to give it to you. That bike is worth $25, but we'll give you credit $10 an hour if you'll come over and work in our store, and you can have the bike.
It's really, really important not to give people stuff, but to make them earn it, because there's something psychologically that goes into, right? I'm a man again, or I'm a human being again. I'm contributing again. And like, at the end of that, when they can look back and go, I earned my way out of my problems, then you can be proud of it when you accomplish
Mhm.
something again, versus like, if you just get given everything, then you're still like, that's why if it costs you nothing, it
you
means
owe
nothing.
me.
Yeah.
You gave it
Well,
to me
and then
because you
there's
owe
that
me.
too.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So there's a specific thing. So I'm doing a summer internship at Love Inc. with helping them, and the people there are super sweet. But then that goes to the liberal Christians who want to help people because they need help.
It breaks
And
my heart.
I know, it breaks my heart too. Anyway, so
Woo.
most of the people that he works with are females and ladies, and he, as the man
chicks.
and in the leadership position that he is in, he's going, we need to get them to work. Oh, well, but they really need the bikes. Can't we? No, but I don't think that's going to work. We should just give them the bikes. I don't think it's going to work out if we make them work for them. And he was getting a lot of pushback from it, and even I'm like, I guess I'm just weird, or I just dad. I trust him as the leader of the family, and as because I know I've just
there's a
done him.
lot there to unpack that I don't think we have time for, but
but the females have been
like all good
becoming
things
so dominant, and the females are getting what they want. And we talk about gender equality, and the females are having more and more pushback. And there's been a study specifically on females who take birth control actually go for weaker men. And
I saw this. Yeah.
And then the girls who have to take estrogen because of the birth control that's getting everything out of whack, it is actually going into the water, and it is affecting the males in the area that have a higher population. And then they themselves
turning the freaking frogs gay. I've seen it.
Basically,
feminizing all the men.
Hey, tadpole.
And because men and scientifically, because men are not being able to be men, the more of the liberal, we just need to give them something is becoming so more and more prominent that no one can work for anything nowadays.
Right. Well, look here. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Nancy. This sounds like a Nancy. I'm just going to say Nancy. It feels right.
No,
Go for it, Nancy.
All right. Okay. Ellen, maybe. I don't know.
Move on.
Dialing it in. All right, but anyway, it's like, look here, that may make you feel better, Nancy, but it's not going to solve the problem. And what I usually, what I try to make people understand is that, niceness isn't in the Bible. There's no point in the Bible where you're ever going to say, and Jesus said, "Be thou nice unto your neighbor." It never says that. Kindness is. Kindness is in the Bible, but there's a difference between kindness and niceness, right? If you're nice, it makes you feel good. Kindness, right? Like, I'm kind to my children. I try to be a kind father. And the reason I can do that is because I care about what's best for my children beyond whether or not I care if they like me.
Yeah.
And it allows me to do what's best for them because I'm above that, right? And you may hate me for it. And this is going to sound really familiar. Like, you're going to do what I tell you to do because I'm trying to help you. And you're either going to do it because you're afraid of me, or you're going to do it because you love me. And I would way rather it be the latter, but you're going to do it, right? And the only thing that's going to stand between you and there is how much pain, like, you're going to go through before this happens. But I do that because I am being kind to them. I'm being kind to them on a scale that they don't yet understand. That goes beyond their scope right there.
So
their short-sightedness.
Yeah, I've seen so many people go, Dad, yeah, son, thank you for beating me as a child. Yep, no problem. Love you. Love you too, Dad.
So anyway, I do have one more story that I want to share with you guys, and I promise I'm not going to linger long on it.
Okay,
but this just
because we're running up against the break. Here we go.
Yep. So this goes to just how fast the news stream is going. Like I said, plaid speed. So last Saturday, Donald Trump is almost assassinated. The entire news cycle rotates over to that. Democratic Party is in a basic free fall tailspin. The Democratic donors start coming out. They start trying to push Biden out. Biden camp is pushing back. He says, make no mistake, I am the nominee. I am going to be here. I am going to run. Then he's in an interview. I can't remember who, Lester Holt maybe. And he goes, well, what is one thing that could get you out of the race? He very interestingly says, well, if there was a medical event, then I would consider it. Because before that, he said, no, it would take God himself to come down and get me out of the race. Well, then the president tests positive for... So he had that, and they're like, oh, all right. Well, 5 days ago was the last time anybody saw the president. And he got on Air Force One, and he flew out of Las Vegas. Yesterday afternoon, Sunday, at about 1:45 p.m., an announcement goes out on X, formerly known as Twitter. It's a PDF document that has, does not have the White House's letterhead on it at all. And it has a signature on the bottom that does not look like Joe Biden's signature. I've looked at his signature on countless documents before this. Doesn't look like his signature. Doesn't look like any signature that he's ever had. A lot of people are pointing out the fact that he underlined his name for the first time. He's never underlined his name before in any other document that he's ever signed. His lawyer, I believe Steve Ricchetti, however you pronounce the name, reports are coming out that he's actually the one that wrote the document, put it out there. Here's the New York Post article about it that I want to share. Biden staffer is reportedly blindsided after president drops out of 2024 race. We're all finding out by tweet. So that's another weird thing. He didn't even go to his staff and let his staff know that he was dropping out. Basically, the staff all found out the same time that the rest of the nation found out, with just this random tweet being dropped that I'm dropping out of the race. It's been a day and a half. Kamala Harris already has tied up half the delegates she needs to get the nomination to heading into the convention. Half of them. Also, George, the Soros Foundation has rotated all of their funding over. It is now funding Kamala Harris, sending her on to be the nominee for the party. And basically, the only thing she has left to do to secure the nomination is come up with a running mate. Right. And so everybody's now the entire speculation is on, like, well, who's the running mate going to be? Everybody's just glossing over the fact. And this is the main point of the story to me. Everybody's just glossing over the fact that nobody has seen Joe Biden for 5 days. And as of the point that we're recording this, Monday the 22nd, right? Nobody has seen the president in 5 days. Apparently, Kamala Harris had a freaking press conference that she was on earlier today, and she did the thing again, Dad, where she pulled her phone out and put the phone underneath the microphones, and supposedly Joe Biden was on the other side. And yes, I'm saying supposedly. People are going to come at me about being a conspiracy theorist. Like, whatever. Get bent. This is weird, all right? Nothing about this is normal. Right?
No.
The leader of the free world just broke up with America over a text message. Like, it's not you, it's me. Like, that's what just happened. And I wish that was my joke. That was Brandon's joke. But he just broke up with us all via text.
Phil Collins did that with his second wife. Okay.
Whatever.
Anyway.
But I'm saying nothing about this is weird. Or nothing about this is normal. Everything about this is weird. It stinks like yesterday's diapers, right? And nobody's talking about it. And so it's like, I want to go on record right now. Again, this is Monday. It's been 5 days since anybody's seen the president. I want proof of life of POTUS. I want to know
Oh,
where
that's
he
hilarious.
is. I want a video of him with like the newspaper, the current newspaper of the day, like on his desk so we
Yeah.
can all see it. I want to see him speak. I want to see him talk about why he decided to suddenly drop out of the race after saying like it's going to take an act of God to get me gone, right? I want to know like if he's okay. I want to know if he's still alive. Like if you're a foreign leader right now, looking at the fact that the American president hasn't been seen in 5 days, and I'm like licking my chops to like I don't know invade some small island somewhere because I really want it for my own.
Yeah.
Like if I wanted to attack the United States and you know inflict great loss on the great Western Satan, well, now's as good a time as any. Like we need to have somebody in the White House. People don't understand how fragile of a situation this is. I want proof of life of the president. I want to know where he's at, and if he's not capable, then I want the 25th Amendment. We have succession of leadership for a reason. I want it enacted. There needs to be a person sitting at the. As much as I hate her, and do not misunderstand what I'm saying. I cannot stand the vice president.
Yeah.
But as much as I hate her,
but we have to
I
have
need somebody has to be in the seat.
Someone needs to sit in the seat.
We have to have a
So
titular head.
that's my point of that story, and that's why I wanted to highlight it. It's the most important thing that's happening in any American's life right now.
Yeah, I looked at mom and I looked at dad, and I heard the fact that nobody's been able to see him or proof of life or anything. I'm like, oh, he's dead. That's just my hot take. I just
Well, she did the thing. She pulled out the phone in front of the microphone, and apparently he was on the other side talking.
Dad
just like he did for Morning Joe a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and I don't think that was him.
He sent that to me and he goes, I want to show you something. And before he even like officially said, does that sound like Joe Biden? I'm like, that's not Joe Biden.
Yeah.
That's not.
I didn't even get to ask her
the current president.
what I wanted to ask her.
Doesn't sound like him. And
well, I'm just saying by the time I hope this episode goes out tomorrow, I hope by Tuesday, the 23rd, that it's out so everybody can read this. And I hope by the time it goes out, I hope the story is old. And I hope he's already done a press conference.
So.
I hope so. Like that's
because
the best case scenario.
Just remember 3 weeks ago, there was a Russian nuclear sub and 2 frigates that came within 50 miles of the United States off of our coast, right?
Yeah, off the West Coast, right?
No, East Coast. It was off of Florida.
Oh, that's right, off the coast of Florida, and they're freaking filming
went down to
thing.
Cuban. Yeah.
It was just Sean Connery.
Yeah,
dude. He was just making a run for it while he had the chance.
Yeah, Red October.
Yeah,
that's
bullets don't do so well in here.
Yeah. So and that just echoes what you're saying. We need somebody sitting in the seat, even if it's we're propping them up and putting Ray-Bans on them, and but they need somebody sitting there because it's what the rest of the world thinks of us at the moment.
Yeah.
There is no head of the United States. Well, where are they going to get their answers? What's running what? Now, I will say this, and this. Let's just say this for our audience. You and I were talking about the different regional commanders that are around the world.
They're called combatant commanders, COCOMs.
And they already have their policies and everything, and they're fairly autonomous with what they can do, and they already have forces that they can to do stuff. So as far as protectionary like that, they're able to do that from that point of view.
Autonomously, yes, they are.
Autonomously, and the Pentagon is a first level there.
The only thing that stands between those guys and enacting policy is how far they're willing to go with that 4-star general rank. Are they willing to lay the rank on the line and get in trouble for making a bad decision? That's really the only thing that stands between it. Like if you are the combatant commander for your region, you have plenary authority for everything that happens inside of that.
And I told you yesterday, I was thoroughly shocked because of the word and the policies that have been coming out of the White House on the Middle East. And if anybody's been following over there, the Houthis ended up attacking Israel on Israel's soil, and Israel IDF turned around and bombed a major oil platform, and took out several
in Yemen
magazines in Yemen. And on top of that, a day goes by, and the next thing you know, the United States ends up hitting 3 separate targets. That's not complimentary of the policy that's been coming out of the White House. So that particular commander saw fit to pull that trigger.
Could be. I mean, this is where I pull up because I can't talk. I just won't talk about foreign policy, but
right. You can't. But all I'm saying is from what has been said from the White House and what was acted out, that's not similar policy.
So please don't ask me, by the way, in the comments. This is where you usually say likes, follow, subscribe, comment. Don't ask me.
Because he can't answer you anyway. Because he just ain't going to do it. He ain't going to do it. And this is where we're going to take a break, and we're going to pay the bills with some fake money because we're going to put on a fake commercial. And
it's
after
all
we
made up. The points don't matter.
And they don't count. And we'll be right back after this message.
Alrighty. The smart toilet. You've heard of the smartphone. You've heard of the smart TV. You've heard of the smart refrigerator and the smart stove. Well, you can't truly have a smart home until you have a smart toilet. From the people who make technology that controls your life comes the smart toilet. Are you losing the urge to pee? Not sure when you gotta poo? You need a smart toilet. The AI proprietary technology of the smart toilet can notify you and let you know when you need to go. In fact, the smart toilet is more in tune with your body's natural rhythm than you are. Don't you hate it when you and your female counterpart are getting ready to leave for a long commute on a road trip, and upon making it to the vehicle, she says, "I gotta go pee." No problem. The smart toilet will send a notification directly to her phone reminding her to get the job done before you leave the house. But wait, there's more. The smart toilet also works with your smart watch. Not only does it give you an audible notification, but if you ignore it on the third time, it will give you a 100-volt shock as a reminder to do the important things in life. For only 3 easy payments of $10,999, yes, you can own this technology that will revolutionize your life. So, if you depend on technology to run your life, get your smart toilet installed today. The smart toilet is a fantasy product of the CFC and is not sold in any stores that we are aware of. So there you go. Thank you, smart toilet.
Yes, thank you, smart toilet. I don't know what I'd do without you.
I know. And coming in the works, I know I hear somewhere there's going to be a smart potty somewhere along the lines that's in the works.
It's weird. I got one installed in my house. It creeps me out in the middle of the night. It keeps telling me, "Give me that PP," and I'm like, I don't like that. How do I turn that off? Trying to turn that.
They're still working out the kinks.
Yeah.
All right. Ooh. Okay.
What do you have for us, Dad?
Drum shot. You gotta have that drum shot on cue when you do that.
Okay. Right.
Hey,
it's a bit late.
All right, here you go for everybody. Words of wisdom from somebody I've really been enjoying, Nick Freitas, and check this out. Seriously?
Well, somebody commented on my last video and basically accused me of talking a good game when it comes to being a strong man, but using half my videos to, quote, simp on my wife. Let me see if I can explain to this young man, I presume, the difference. Simping is rooted in kind of this pathetic need for adoration or acceptance from somebody that's just not really interested in you. Whereas what I'm doing is demonstrating affection, respect, and love for my wife, not to mention a general appreciation for the complementary roles that we play within our marriage. Now, I understand this is probably difficult for you to contemplate or fully relate to, being that the closest relationship you've ever had is probably with your stuffed animal collection. But if you work hard on becoming a good man and learn how to treat and respect a woman, you too might be able to have such a meaningful relationship. Maybe.
Just maybe.
I was gonna say.
Hey, breaking news on Twitter. Laura Loomer is putting out. She says, "Breaking: Joe Biden is dying. Final preparations are being made for him. He was supposed to leave Delaware today, but his health has deteriorated due to his accelerated decline. Joe Biden has canceled 9 trips that were scheduled for the next 2 weeks." Unconfirmed. Laura Loomer has been known to be a little in front of stories sometimes and doesn't always get things right. But if this is indeed true, you heard it here first. This was tweeted out just a a few minutes ago.
Laura Loomer?
Yeah.
Who's she with? Is she with a network?
She's with she's a GOP conservative activist based out of Florida. Yeah.
But is she
So
is she with a network or a newspaper?
No, she's an independent. I don't even know if you call her a journalist, but
okay.
I'll just say
Technically,
like it's going out. So like I said, unconfirmed, don't know, but people are starting to say it. So I'm gonna do a little digging in the background and see if while you guys are talking and see if there's any veracity to this.
Now, hey, the reason why I showed that, and that's for our audience. And by the way, if you've never ran across Nick Freitas, show him a little love. Go out. He's got some really funny shorts. And
yeah, he's fun.
That doesn't sound right. He's got some funny shorts. He wouldn't appreciate that. Anyway,
Yeah, but before you go follow Nick
wait.
Freitas, make sure that you're following common
us
freaking
too.
sense. And
absolutely.
First and
Just
foremost.
I can say I like his material and I like his sense of humor. I don't think it's as good as mine sometimes, but that's okay. But anyway, and one of his little shticks that he likes to do is to get some of his points across by the message on his coffee cup. However, he has annoyed me several times because he has done it in such an angle that if you're going to do it, man, put the coffee cup where I can read it, but he gets this certain angle and he goes and he takes a drink and he puts it down. It's like, what did it say? What did it say? Anyway,
Just a mock.
but as he was doing that, I was trying to catch his meaning, and I was stuck on the word simping, and not sipping, simping. And I'm trying to figure out what in the world. I'm going to be honest with you. I've heard it. I've heard it used. It makes no sense to me. So, Kay, our producer, looking over there, it looks like she's looking up a definition of it.
To help you with the definition.
Go ahead.
Specifically, he said stuffed animal collection, but I would have said anime body pillow collection. But I digress. Giving too much attention and affection through gifts, compliments, or acts of service as a way of seeking validation from someone else, but it's in such excessive behavior, specifically of a guy towards a female, but the female doesn't want anything to do with them, and he's basically making himself a rug for her to walk on. And it's usually what would be considered an e-girl online being like, you guys come and do this for me, or for OnlyFans, or for people who put content out that's questionable. They'll have an army of what we call simps, which are basically lonely, passive-aggressive guys that all they can do is sit in their basement and make angry comments or complaints on the computer because they don't actually have a life, and they're seeking validation in the wrong areas by
Hold the
making themselves
phone.
rugs.
Hold the phone. What? I'm reading this. I can see my producer's screen. I'm reading this. Do you know? Let's get back
to the fact check.
Let's get back to the basics here. All you're talking about is a dude brown nosing a chick.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just this.
Why didn't you just say
Why
so?
did you just say that? He's just brown nosing.
I don't know, because every like these Gen Zers, they gotta act like they're the ones that invented everything, so they come up with a new name on it. Then you're like,
simp even come from?
From being simple.
Simple?
Yeah,
Is that what it
simple-minded.
is?
The easiest way to think about it, but I'm not actually sure. In short, here's the one message that I have to all of those brown nosers, or I'm sorry, you simpers out there. Touch grass. Like, honestly, just touch some grass. You'll be fine.
Go outside, look at the sky.
Read the Bible. You'll be even better.
Stop watching porn. Put that stuff down. Go outside. Touch grass.
You'll save more money. You'll save more money by not being on OnlyFans. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, OnlyFans is like the perfect microcosm of what the simp is. Because I don't mean to be this way, but in the age of the internet, like if you understand basically how the internet works, I don't understand why anybody actually pays for pornography. Right?
No, I don't either.
And I'm not. Do not take this the wrong way. I am not promoting pornography. I think pornography is a pervasive and evil disease. It rots the mind. It destroys your ability to have good relationships. It is anti everything that is good to be a man. And I try to keep it out of my life at all costs. That being said, I don't understand why anybody would pay for it, because it's so pervasive and it's so free on the internet. Like, all you have to do, I probably turned down like 40 freaking porn requests on our Instagram like every single day.
Seriously?
Of people just posting it there. It comes to you. It finds you. You don't even have to go looking for it.
I'm having problem with my Facebook Reels.
Sure,
because
that's what I'm saying. It's everywhere, and dude, and it weirded me out because I gotta come join my OnlyFans. And then
2 months ago, I finally learned what OnlyFans is.
Oh, well, you probably would have been fine the rest of your life not knowing.
Well, it's because I was not Charlie Kirk, but anyway, one of those radio shows, and he kept talking to these chicks, and they were making references to them, and I'm like,
okay,
I have no idea what is this.
Don't tell me that you clicked OnlyFans into your search history or your browser.
No,
okay, good.
No, because I kept titling it "Fans Only" because I couldn't get the term right.
That's where she comes like busting in. What are you looking up? It's for work, I promise. Why are you incognito?
Just curious.
It's for work. I swear.
Yeah.
But no, it was one of those, and before I deleted it, I had to do a double take, and it was a buddy of mine that I went to sock him with. It was his ex-wife, and I was just like, oh my God.
Oh.
And it was just, exactly. That was the look right there. I was just like, I didn't need, like, imagine having, and he's got 2 children with this chick, and now she's out doing OnlyFans. And I was just like,
do you know how many
could you imagine?
teachers?
Could you imagine finding out that your mom does OnlyFans?
There are a lot of teachers who have put up on doing OnlyFans.
Oh, I know. And then they get fired. They should be fired. They should absolutely be fired. There should be a code of conduct.
That kind of reminds me of Ocean's 13. They're getting, he's coming off the stage, and he got this chick to give something to him, and he's outside. It's not
11?
Ocean's 11. I'm sorry. It's not Danny, but it's Danny's right-hand man.
He needed the security card.
He needed the security card. So she goes out and he goes, "Hey, say hi to your mom."
Say hi to your mom. You can say hi yourself. She'll be on in an hour or 15
Yeah,
minutes.
something like that.
And then look, he's like, ugh, just this is Las Vegas, man. It's just a dirty town.
Weird. It's just weird.
Vegas is a dirty town. I've been there. Like,
it's just weird. Anyway, that's a whole nother story about your grandfather wanting to take you guys to Vegas.
I do have stories about
Flyer story.
And I'm like,
we don't need to tell that one here. That would be out of place.
You're not taking my kids to Vegas. Well, I hear it's a family place. That's what he told me.
Hi, we're the Johnsons from Sodom and Gomorrah. We're here for family vacation.
We hear you got a lovely sulfur spring.
Yeah. They said the buffets are $2.55. Yeah, you're definitely from.
He just kept trying to tell me that. It's like, well, they got family stuff out there.
Vegas itself is just a joke.
I'm just like, Dad, you are not taking my kids to Vegas.
Oh,
I can see it now. Hey, Grandpa, that horse has a third leg. No.
And that's why we call him Little John, son.
Oh man. Yeah, that almost caused a family rift because I put my foot down about that.
Really?
Yeah. And so he ended up
when you get 2 bullheaded Hambrock boys together, and then they just like, one's the immovable object, and the other one's the unstoppable force. Tends to happen in our family. Yeah.
They got to find a compromise. And on that one, I normally did a lot of compromising. On that one, I did not.
Yeah.
And so you guys ended up going out to South Dakota. So
yeah, it was a good trip. I remember that one.
That trip.
Yeah.
That was the one where the squirrels kept throwing acorns at Grandma because they were all getting pissed at her. And she was like, she turned around. She did that thing. She was like, they keep throwing acorns at me because they would like bounce off the stove and stuff. And they were just
well, it's
scaring
better
the crap out of her.
acorns than black walnuts when you say.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
A little smaller.
We just thought, like Ben and John and I, we thought that was the funniest thing.
Yeah.
Girls
So
kept chucking
anyway,
acorns
the
at
whole
her.
thing with Freitas, but being a man, and that was one of the things we really didn't get to it, but we talked about simping and found out that it's just brown nosing. I mean, a way better
basically.
phrase. Hey, what's what you got right there, man?
Yeah, you got a little. Is that? Please be chocolate.
No.
Every parent ever. Every parent ever.
But
Please be chocolate.
but the idea, and I think he did it so coyly, so coolly. I loved it. Is to challenge the young man that maybe one day, if he learned to love on his wife and appreciate her, then he could enjoy a kind of relationship that Nick and his wife had. And I thought, yeah, that's the point. I mean, you're a little rough on him, but I think that dude needs a smack upside the head, or you know, like a little puppy,
Well,
the roll of newspaper, whack.
Yeah,
You know.
it used to be that there were things that you wouldn't go up to another man on the street and say, because
Yeah, that too.
That's a good way to get a bloody lip. You just don't say
it
that.
is.
And now with the invention of the internet and everything's anonymized, people
Right.
will come out and just say the dumbest things. To be like, you would never say that to
Right.
another man on the street.
And take a moment and explain a little bit of his background, who he is, Chris.
Oh, well, Nick Freitas, he's a member of the Virginia House of Burgesses now, and
Currently
he's a prior
serving there.
He's a prior first Special Forces group guy. I believe he was an 18 Bravo, which was a weapons sergeant. Don't quote me on that one, but I believe that's what he was. And so he's got several deployments to Afghanistan under his belt. And then he's one of those guys, which is what we're trying to do between our channel and Adam Dorito setting up Leatherwood LLC and coming up with an off ramp for veterans to get into the military. He's one of the individuals that we're hoping to work with so that we can set up the network that we need in order to vet veterans that want to go from, like, hey, you served in the military, you served our country overseas, now you want to continue to defend and support the Constitution, but you want to do it from inside the country. We want to set up like an on-ramp for these guys to get into government, because like, I hear you guys out there, you want to be involved, and I want patriots in the government. So we are trying to come up with a way to do that. But Nick Freitas is one of the OG special operators to government guys. Like, he found a way to do that, and he serves in the Virginia House of Burgesses now.
That's
at the
that's
state
awesome.
level too.
And
he runs a podcast, and
and can you see that kid, meeting him face to face? Because, by the way, he's not necessarily a small guy either.
No, still fits in his Class A's though.
Oh, did you see that?
Yeah, because his daughter recently got married. Yeah, and so he did like a whole gag where he let them shave his beard too.
Yeah,
which I thought was pretty
funny.
Yeah.
But he is no small guy, and he's keeping up with PT for his age. I heard him talk about that at another time. I was just wondering, is there any chance that we could get him on the channel for an interview?
Man, I'm trying. I'm actually working on that. Hey, if there's anybody out there, GOP, anybody that listens to the podcast that maybe knows Nick Freitas, because I know he's a registered Republican, I am working channels to try to get in touch with him to get on his radar so that we can interview him and bring him on. So,
and
if you can help us with that, like I'm working on that.
Okay, if you get to do that, I would really like a chance to be a part of that interview.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If at all possible, if I could get it fit in. So anyway,
if we do that, we'll probably make it that would be a huge interview to have, and I would say we'll probably make it a co-channel interview so we can have you, me from Common Freaking Sense, Brandon from I Came with Fire, and then Nick on, and so that we can do both at the same time. And just maximum blast it out there.
Oh man, awesome. Well, anyway, this is a great place to wrap that up. And my final words, if you guys want to put any more statements on that, is, you know what, we need men. We need guys to step up to the plate, and we need guys, dads, to show their sons how to be a husband, how to have that relationship that Nick was talking about with his wife, and to put that out there so that we don't have 20-something-year-olds that the best relationship they've ever had has been with their phone or with some
Pamela
game.
Henderson,
Yeah, and don't understand
that's an old joke.
what real relationships are, but to have courage to be a man and to be something like a Corey Camperatore. Did I get his name right?
Comparatory,
and to know how to be a real man. And the beauty of that relationship and what that is. And guess what? It takes time, takes effort, takes energy in order to do that. And it takes real love, and it takes real selflessness.
And 95% of it isn't what you sit down and tell your sons. It's just the way that they watch you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, that's where we're going to take a break right there. We've got another commercial coming up for you. And when we're done with it, we're going to enter into that segment called What Kay Saw This Week. So here we go.
I saw on the internet.
What's that?
Things I saw on the internet.
What Kay saw this week. Anyway, let's take a break right here, and we'll be right back.
Sinner, are you struggling with destructive sin? Does your heart take you to places you don't want to go? Are you doing things that makes your mama want to disown you? Then you need eternal assurance. Once you enter our assurance programs, we will find a plan that specifically fits your needs. Our owner has the ability to change all destructive behaviors from the inside out. Struggling with alcohol? No problem. Pornography? No problem. Habitual lying? No problem at all. There hasn't been an iniquity that hasn't been dissolved. Not only can eternal assurance change your desires to stop destructive behaviors, but we can change your eternal destiny too. Yes, all plans come with everlasting life at no extra charge. Start your policy today by reading John 3:16 and believing it. You can do it. We can help. That's Eternal Assurance's stance. Are you in good hands? So, things I saw here on the internet.
Hold on, breaking, because I am scrolling Twitter in the background here. So this is being reported on now by Tim Pool. Tim Pool have...
I've heard that name.
Yes, he has quite a good reputation for not putting things up unless they are good and vetted. This is by a website called The Dossier. Exclusive: President Biden suffered an undisclosed medical emergency during his time in Las Vegas. And it would seem that the president was medevaced to his home in Delaware.
And he medevac. That wasn't the original story.
Sources are saying that he was supposed to appear at a rally down there. And this is what Charlie Kirk is reporting, that he's got a source near Las Vegas Metro PD that said that they were contacted on behalf of the Secret Service, and that they said that they needed to take the president POTUS to University Medical and asked for the Metro
University
PD.
Medical, what state? What city?
Las Vegas. He was in Las Vegas, Nevada. Okay. So asking Metro PD to clear the streets for them, and then shortly after that, and they don't know why, they said that they were planning on airlifting the president and taking him to Johns Hopkins. So they asked for routes to be cleared so they could get to the HLZ.
So he hasn't been in Maryland all weekend?
And then it would seem that he never got delivered to Johns Hopkins. He got delivered to Delaware instead. So now
he did go to
yes.
Delaware,
so
not Maryland. Okay.
This is just purely speculative, but if you are going to take a person to the hospital, and then you decide, no, I'm not going to go to that hospital. I'm going to go to this hospital instead. And then you decide, I'm not going to go to that hospital. I'm going to take him home instead. Either he had a medical emergency of some kind. So hospital says medical emergency. Going to Johns Hopkins would suggest a severe medical emergency that University PD would not either be able to.
Well, do you know where Johns Hopkins is located?
I don't off the top of my head. I know it's on the
New
East
York.
Coast, isn't it? It's in New York. Okay. I know it was in the East Coast. And then if they decided not to go to a hospital at all, but take him home, that says one of two things to me. Either he didn't need a hospital now because he got all better and the situation resolved itself.
It's in Maryland. I'm sorry.
Or
it's in Maryland.
The hospital wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
Yeah,
again,
those are
hasn't
two.
been seen. He hasn't been seen in 5 days.
So here's the first thing that I'm looking at, and we want to get to case segment, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. No, that's good.
This stuff is pouring in. Like I said, by the time you guys see this Tuesday morning, the 23rd, I hope this is all.
There'll be a more of a breaking story. But here's the first thing. He was in Las Vegas. We're just hearing now that they cleared the way for him to go to a Vegas hospital. How many days ago was that? And this is just being released.
Charlie Kirk is tweeting 43 minutes ago, update, Jordan Schachel investigated the incoming leads we received today and has confirmed that Joe Biden experienced an undisclosed medical emergency in Las Vegas. The dossier obtained independent testimony from over a half dozen law enforcement officers who participated in the president's security detail and others who spoke from firsthand knowledge of the incident that unfolded that day.
So what day was that? That's what I want to know. Do you remember what day he was in Vegas?
It was last week, Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay. And so we're just finding out now that he went to the hospital in Vegas.
He didn't. They were going to take him to the hospital, and then they diverted.
I thought he landed at that hospital, and then they took him to another one. Okay.
No, they called Metro PD. They asked them to clear the route for them to get to the hospital, then called them back and said, change of plans. We're putting him on an aircraft, and we're taking him to Johns Hopkins. Then he never showed up to Johns Hopkins. He showed up in Delaware instead. Johns
Hopkins is in Baltimore, which is basically a 40-minute drive from
you guys are getting this as of when we're recording this podcast. You're getting this in real time as it's breaking.
But he did not go.
Did not go to the hospital.
John Hopkins. He didn't go to any hospital.
Either hospital.
Okay. So then it was released that the reason why is because it was a mild case of COVID. And so he took the week off.
Right, and he's the greatest president, received more votes than anybody that's ever run for office. And
okay. But anyway, he took the rest. He was taking the week off because
their integrity has been stellar.
Oh, not okay. So all I'm saying is, did the White House not know it? Is it really COVID, or was the medical emergency so fast? It seemed to come on too fast for it to be COVID.
Well, I mean, his doctor, the White House physician released that he did indeed test positive for COVID, but that was days before he went to Las Vegas.
He went to Vegas testing positive for COVID? I thought he went to that and came out of that and tested positive for COVID.
No, they canceled everything over in Vegas because he tested positive. So
maybe he tested positive while he was there. Is that what it was? Is that the timeline?
Sure, yeah. That's what. Yeah, what I read.
That's what I'm trying to do is put together the timeline of when he was tested positive, and then he had his medical emergency. But what the White House reported is that the president tested positive for COVID, so he's going back to his home, and they knew that already. He's going back to his home to recoup.
Right.
Listen, I demand
that was last Thursday.
I demand proof of life on POTUS. If he is not able to confidently discharge the duties of his office, then we have a succession of leadership for a reason. 25th Amendment, like like I'm
Well,
demanding it as a citizen of
okay.
the United States.
I'm going to throw this out on our show now. Did he have COVID or was he poisoned?
That's what
I don't
Mom
know.
ended
That's
up
the kind of
saying.
that's the kind of speculation that I don't want to get
Right.
into. I'm only
Right.
willing to say stuff as it's being confirmed as it's coming out.
Okay, that's fine. We'll probably never know because, but my bottom line is this. You and I both know as fast as COVID can move, it doesn't quite move that fast.
He's also
When it hits,
81.
it's hard.
It doesn't
What did I
move
say?
that fast
Yeah.
that it totally knocks you down in less than 4 hours or so from whenever he tested positive with it.
Yeah,
It's not 4 hours. I'll give you 12.
It's suspicious.
And
Whatever.
It could put him on
It
his
stinks.
back.
Oh.
This whole
Yes,
thing
it does.
stinks.
Yes, it does. And the other thing I'm trying to figure out is why they didn't release it to the American people. That the reason why, and it's just now being released, that they made a way for him to go to the medical center in Vegas.
So
this
weird.
is 5 days later.
It's so
And
weird that
they're just now finding out.
Yeah, it's so weird that he said on an interview that it would take an act of God or maybe a medical emergency to get me out of this race.
Yeah.
This is just super weird.
Someone stroked their beard.
Well, okay, here, like this.
Yeah.
What did I say, Dad? We were leaving Joey's, and I told you if he's not dead, he's on his deathbed. Did I not say that?
Yeah, but I still find it to be a problem that this information was released 5 days later.
Well,
Because if it really happened, why didn't they release it then? I find that just suspicious that they released the information, and it's the way that they're releasing. Oh, there was a call placed in to the LAPD, LVPD, so that they could get him to the hospital, but that was delayed. They decided to take him directly through. Do you know how easy it is to manufacture that?
yeah.
All right. So let's wrap up today's show with what Kay saw this week. Ready?
Well, the things I saw on the internet, we're working right now with people. It's the main thing. It's here, there, just bunch of random things. But the main thing is people are weird and stupid.
That's got to be Jerry Lewis's nephew.
So
What are we doing? Is this getting ready to get like super meta?
only if you want it to be.
Oh man.
So
I think he worked for John Deere. Anyway.
So all right, first things first.
Right in the nuts. Oh.
Whoa, that was cool.
Oh, mamma mia.
Now that's tasty a pizza.
He's like, come at me, bro. Come at me. No.
Yeah, now I want to see him handle the nunchucks.
Well, he did. He smacked himself in the elbow. You didn't
Oh,
see
did
it?
he?
Hit himself
Yeah,
hard,
he cracked
you know.
himself in the ulna, and he was like, "Oh, okay, I'm not doing that again."
I'm done.
The pizza
Not going,
noise is so
not
much
going any
softer.
further with that.
Pizza didn't hurt.
Yeah.
It just kept falling on the floor. So
That
Who
was
ate that pizza
entertaining.
afterwards?
I
That's what I wanna
appreciated
know.
that one.
this guy should give him the raise. Computer crashed.
Uh-oh.
Wait, stop sharing your screen.
The fans, we need you now.
He just went.
Seattle on your
Oh,
Oh, that's out here, too.
Stadium it is.
Yeah, it is rally time. And when all else fails,
They got the bubbles in the back.
Crowd strike, Chris. Crowd strike.
There we go. Now it's
That whole thing was probably that whole thing's planned.
It's Seattle, you know. It's the home of all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah, Microsoft is still out here.
Yeah.
really? Is it surviving?
Yeah,
that-
Microsoft's out here.
That just looked
crazy.
natural to everybody's screen. That's all that they did.
Yeah, they were like, "Huh?" That was all right. I mean, it
no.
was humorous. I'll give him that. It was a good idea.
Yeah, there you go. There you
As
go.
far as transitions
Oh,
go,
look at that. You found it. I found it. That means we can fix your car.
Perfect.
Oh no,
They're from Seattle too.
probably. You spend too much time on TikTok. I'm starting to realize where you get all your stuff from.
Well, the nice thing is my soon-to-be brother-in-law sends me like I don't even want to know how many. It's so many.
Well, that says a lot about
TikToks that
him.
actually-
He's on TikTok.
Well, the phone that he originally had a problem that whatever app that you were on the most burnt its icons into the screen, and so whenever he like turned it on and flipped over, you could still see like the heart, the comment, the share buttons from TikTok on his phone screen.
So, hey, Chris, you're gonna have to figure.
I could have
this
told
out.
you let the Chinese into your phone. Like
JD Vance is in this generation. You talked about being younger, okay?
Yeah.
So TikTok man.
Yeah,
this
even
is
Trump's on
true.
TikTok.
I actually have
That's
people that are
great.
bugging us to get a TikTok started, and I'm just like, I can't.
TikTok is
There's
hilarious.
I just, there's something about it. Like my gut just won't let me do it.
Just no.
You know?
Because it's owned by the Chinese.
Yeah, I definitely don't want them in my personal phone. I don't want that
Oh,
at
no.
all.
Yeah.
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 So,
Got any more?
next. Yeah, I got. I actually grabbed kind of a long one today, but
All
I
right,
wanted to
let's
show you
go.
guys a lot.
Hose. Jose.
Oh,
Just stop.
okay.
You know what that reminded me of?
Man,
That stupid pin pineapple apple pin. Like what?
It's
not even the same.
What am I
ethnicity.
watching?
remind me of that old joke. A fireman has twins. What does he name them? Jose and Hoseby.
Oh jeez.
That is that. That's wait.
Dad
I don't have a
jokes.
womp.
Dad
Oh,
jokes.
jeez.
I don't have a womp womp. We need to get that. I'll get that next time. Right, next.
Somebody lost a clam. Oh man, this thing's gonna sound bad.
No, it sounds like exactly how it should sound.
It's electric, isn't it?
No, that's how
That's
it should
that's
sound.
what it
They
sounds
should
like when a gay
become-
man farts too, just so you guys know.
Oh, really? Really? Did we have to go there? All right.
Always.
Why not?
Joe Biden's brain is on a vacation mode. When he speaks, he makes you wonder.
I don't know, should we be
He doesn't even
he might be dead right now. Should we be making fun of him?
and we know
I chose these like 2 weeks ago.
I know.
my.
We might be getting
Oh.
we might be getting into like way too soon territory. Like
We had no idea. She had this stuff planned out a
let
couple
the
of days
man
ago.
die in peace.
Never.
Ooh.
Hey, I know how he got the votes from all those graveyards now. He's always had.
Oh,
he's
is that
always
what it
had
is?
one
He's
of
just
them.
meeting with his constituency.
Yeah.
It turns out unlucky bears really do exist. This one is named Joey. Due to albinism, his fur is completely white. He was mistaken for a lost polar bear by an animal protection organization who tranquilized him and sent him to the Arctic. In the icy wilderness, Joey couldn't find food and, being smaller than the polar bears, was chased and bullied by them. Arctic experts noticed his fur was yellowish and different from polar bears, and upon observation, they discovered he was an albino grizzly bear. They tranquilized him again and sent him back to the North American forest. After some time, Joey was once again mistaken for a polar bear by another animal protection organization and was sent back near the Arctic Circle. This time, with experience, Joey started running toward warmer areas. However, passers-by saw him and thought he was a polar bear heading south in search of food. So they sent Joey to a nearby polar bear exhibit. The staff there recognized him as an albino grizzly and sent him back to the North American forest. This bear is truly unluckier than the unluckiest bear you can imagine.
Joey.
Not again.
Leave
Just like-
me alone.
You know, that really does say something though about like the conservation society. And it's just
Yes.
like how anybody that is for the like the green earthers and everything. It's
Yep.
like, you know what? Why don't you just leave Mother Nature alone and let her do her thing?
They-
Like she's been rolling along for the last, millions and billions of years, if you guys believe that. I don't, but whatever. Like let's take your timeline.
Let's take
and
your
like
timeline.
we're doing fine. She's doing fine. Right? And every time you make a prediction, like you're like I saw this stuff coming out of the 80s. It was global cooling back then, right? And they were like, we're all going to be under ice by 1996. That didn't happen. And they're like, oh, all the ice caps are going to melt by 2004. That didn't happen. Oh, like Hawaii's going to be underwater. Did you see that? Did you see that congressman that was afraid that Guam was going to tip over because of like all the people that were moving to the island? Yeah, and he was like,
"Are you?"
You know, and it's just like these people, and it's so cultish too. If you really look at like the people that are in that arena, it becomes like their religion, and you can tell it's like you're really searching for something to worship, aren't you?
Besides Joey, my favorite story to tell people is the fact that they tried to reintroduce moose into Michigan, and because the moose didn't have any natural predators there, they now had to start airdropping in Canadian wolves because they naturally knew how to hunt the moose as the predators there.
See, this is
never seen something of that size. So back in, what was it, 2017, they'd been airdropping in wolves that had previous knowledge how to hunt moose to try it.
They've done the same thing in Wisconsin with elk.
Yep.
And
airborne wolves.
And the difference with the elk and the moose is that when they introduce the elk have that brain disease.
Oh, yeah.
What is it, Chris? Because it came out while you were here because you had to deal with it.
Chronic wasting disease.
Yeah.
And the elk had it and ended up giving it to our whitetail herd.
Who had no problem.
If they hadn't have brought in the elk, we wouldn't have had the problem.
Yeah, and I've seen quite a few deer farms that harvest the antlers and then just chill with herds in the thousands. All of the deer had to go in and get slaughtered because one possibly it wasn't even confirmed, one possibly had it, and because of the scare of the outbreak, they just went in and killed all of his deer and shut him down out of business. I heard that with at least a handful of them, specifically here up to northern Wisconsin, and it's just like, you guys suck.
Hey Chris.
Yeah.
Hey Chris. I've seen two bucks. They got their velvet on.
Yeah, that's always cool. We got a couple of we got one 8-pointer running around post here, and then a couple of 4-pointers and a couple of little nubbies, and they're all in velvet right now too. So it's cool to watch.
Yeah,
I saw a nubby today.
In fact, one of them was at the choke cherry tree right outside of my house a couple weeks ago, and Hannah goes out there and she was like, "Can you come do something about this?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" I walk around the corner, this little nubby buck, he won't, like, he was bowing up on Hannah because he didn't want to leave the choke cherry tree. And so I stepped around the edge and I was probably like 20 feet from him. I was like, "All right, go on, get out of here." And he just looked at me and he went, and I was like, I literally, between me and him was my car, and my big hunting knife was in the car, and I was like, if I get from there to there, I was like, it's game on, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm looking at those back straps. I was like, I will mount those little nubs on my wall. If this is a knife kill, you best believe I'm gonna have nubs mounted on my wall. And I
I'm just thinking of Forrest with that stupid,
with the screwdriver,
screwdriver.
But I was like, yo, if we're gonna go, like, let's go, because like.
Yeah.
And eventually I walked over and he was like, he did like the nonchalant, like, stepped away, and I was like,
you're not worth it.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
You're not worth it. 2 more videos.
See you tomorrow.
Did you see what I put on the family chat? This is the view out my office window.
Yeah.
Yeah. He actually has an albino female. And then she had regular twins, but her sister that she was twins with has albino twin fawns.
Huh? Well, it runs.
So it's really cool.
Just one.
Yeah, once it gets in the gene pool.
He has one. Well, what it takes for albinism to come through is that a deer can carry it, but unless the counterpart. So if a female has it, she has to have a buck that also carries the gene trait with them. And then it could possibly show up. Even then, it's still not guaranteed.
All right. Enough biology.
All right, two more videos. Just anyway.
I love you, Kaya.
Daddy?
What do you want?
Ooh.
She gonna get anything she wants.
Uh-huh.
My birthday. It's your birthday.
My birthday?
Yeah.
My birthday?
Yeah.
Love it.
That's just too good.
That's my water bottle?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. They'll always tell on you.
Yeah, they will. Fly.
Butterflies.
Fly.
Oh.
Fly.
Yes, the rare double D butterfly.
Oh, and because
I
think
love
we
it when
need
they start
today.
migrating. It's great.
Okay.
Flap, flap.
Um,
All right. Last but not least, I think we all need a little bit of therapy because life's depressing.
but you were right. That one little one, that girl's going to get anything she.
And can I have more pumpkins, please? I was like, oh god, little girl, I don't even know you. I'll give you anything you want. That's just too cute.
Can I have more?
It was.
She's adorable. Yes. All right. Last but not least, the best therapy in the world.
Did you say the best?
Best to last.
How red his face is.
That's a Joker laugh right there.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
What the heck is?
Gross.
Oh, there we go. That's a problem.
I don't even want to stop him.
I know. It's the cheeks. Laugh. It's the cheeks.
Yeah, I think
all baby
heaven harps probably sound a lot like baby laughter.
Oh man.
Probably.
Yeah. That's healing right there, man.
It actually was.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm glad you put that video in there.
Yeah.
My dad's heart turned on. Yeah. Don't you even feel something? Yes, I feel.
If you don't, you're dead.
Yeah.
As
Like
all
Joe
I can
Biden.
say is you're dead. A little too. You talk about her.
I couldn't help it.
What?
She got me. She started it.
Isn't that the way that all fights work? She started it. Yeah.
Well,
So, all right. Well, it's been a great night. I think it's time to wrap this baby up. And when we get done from here, I see what Chris is doing. We've totally lost him. He's scrolling through the news. I think I'm going to go.
like it's updating by the minute.
Is it? I think I'm going to go
Yeah.
join him, and I'm going to get on the feeds and see what in the world is going on. So as of right now, give us a general update, Chris. What do you see?
As of right now, the president hasn't been seen in 5 days. I mean, his voice appeared on a call with Kamala Harris earlier today, telling people that he was okay. But Representative Lauren Boebert has issued a release. She said she wanted proof of life by 5 p.m. today. That timeline obviously came and went, so I don't know what she's doing after that. But there is growing calls on the Republican side of the aisle.
Are they just thumbing her nose at her, or can't produce it?
Or I
can't say.
I don't know, but there's growing calls from politicians on the right demanding proof of life from the president. Like, you will address us in Congress, and just nothing's coming of it so far.
So that's where we are tonight. So say your adioses, Kay.
Bye, y'all, guys. Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you can. And hey, have some comments about your favorite video that you saw of me sharing what I saw on the internet today.
And your adioses, Chris.
Hey guys, awesome hanging out with you guys tonight. Look forward to lots more Common Freaking Sense content coming at you. We've got the studio back up. We've got it running. Things are starting to fire on all cylinders. Do me a favor, please make sure, whether you're on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Rumble, wherever you're watching this, please give it a like, follow, or subscribe there. Make sure you're following us on Common Freaking Sense across all the pages. Instagram is where we do the bulk of our stuff. And jump down in the comments section. Let us know what you guys think. Spoiler alert, you're probably wrong. but that's okay because we like talking with everybody, so it's okay.
That's right. And shout out to Live Fire.
Live Fire, that's right. Every Friday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we run the Live Fire live stream over on Rumble. That is a Rumble exclusive live stream that we do. It is growing. Please make sure that you go follow. That's going to be under the I Came with Fire podcast page over on Rumble, and that happens every Friday night. We've got a revolving cast of people, which includes yours truly and Pastor Eric. We're both on the cast over there, as well as Aaron, former PJ operator from the Air Force, runs a page called Aaron Loves America. Adam Dorito 2010. He's running for office out in Colorado State right now, and he's a United States Army National Guard Civil Affairs specialist. And then Brandon, my co-host over at I Came with Fire, who is a former Air Force Security Forces specialist, which is like an MP in the Air Force. And so that's what we run over there. It's always a good time. Definitely a different feel and tone from this show. But we have a good time, and it happens every Friday night without fail. You'll get the boys over there. So it's always a lot of fun.
And it should be a different feel because it's a different show. And I'm Pastor Eric, and I just want to say thanks for being with us. Do all those things that they say to do, like, hit the button, all the share, all that other kinds of stuff. And please do leave comments. We really like to hear from you. And this is going to wrap it up for Common Freaking Sense. And I said the thing. So I hope that you'll be able to use some common freaking sense. Be a man, strive after to know who your God is, and be faithful to your country. God bless. We'll see you all next week.